Hello and welcome to Iceland Roundup.
Special pig version. What was
Special
that?
pig version where
we're gonna play the
Sindri
song.
and me try to round up last week's news in Iceland.
Yes, news of Iceland's most famous pig.
Björgúlfur Thor.
Yeah, the bonus pig.
No, wait.
No, he's not the bonus pig.
That's another
Is
guy.
that you?
Yes, I am.
Identity revealed. Sorry, you were probably hoping for like a bigger bigger venue.
Bigger than this.
So even though a garbage truck burst out in flames in Vesturbær,
I smelled that garbage truck.
even
Wow.
though
How did it smell? Like garbage on fire?
No, it
Really?
smelled surprisingly nice, like a paper fire.
Oh.
Which is honestly, sadly, I'm told that most of what garbage is paper. Still.
Even though we have this like amazing flokkunarkerfi.
I think a lot of people just don't bother. I mean, how did the fire start? I'm guessing it was because somebody, put out a joint in their...
Who started the fire?
yeah, I don't know.
Don't do it. Don't start singing it, please.
Was it Miss O'Leary's cow?
I'd rather we sing that than the other one.
Isn't it? That's really about how the Chicago fire started. Are you guys familiar with this?
The Billy Joel one?
No, yeah,
Did
maybe.
Billy Joel
But
start?
there's a late 19th century.
He says he didn't, but I don't believe him.
O'Leary's cow started the Chicago fire.
Ah.
Never mind.
Yeah, I have heard that.
It's a deep dive into 19th century journalism.
No, I don't know why I'm familiar with this, but I am. I think we have cracked.com to thank for that.
It's the story was written by John Hay, who was Lincoln's secretary, and then I guess Minister of Foreign Affairs for the United States at the turn of the century.
Was he private secretary and Minister of Foreign Affairs?
I
Later
missed
on.
the days when a
Later
public
on.
servant in America had to be able to coin a limerick or two.
He was pretty good at that.
Yeah.
In Iceland, the
Compare
parliament...
it to the mouth-breathing fucktards that are in office there now.
Okay,
Sorry, I
I
cut
was
you
trying to...
Sorry.
It's called colorful description of the political situation in the United States.
I would deem that a relatively colorless description in 2025, honestly. But
But you're talking about like public servants like being able to throw out a limerick.
Mm-hmm.
In Iceland, they have these parties every year called Þingveisla, like a parliament party.
Yeah.
Where like members of parliament and some staff, I guess, of the parliament, they meet, and you can only speak in bundnu máli. What's that?
In rhymes, basically.
yeah,
right?
in verse and meter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that? I feel like at some point in history this would have been fairly easy for the participants, but perhaps the ability to.
Oh, these are silent parties today.
Yeah. they just sit
They
around.
just sit and drink.
Yeah.
It's a Finnish party.
No, because
But they're all still hestfire.
yeah. What was the víðáttu ölvaður? That was the word.
Yeah, it's a good word.
That's I don't know how to translate that, but that's one of the police reports for from the weekend. Apparently, people drank a lot this weekend.
Yeah.
And one guy was pulled over, and the police found out that he was víðáttu ölvaður, which is like
Víðátta is like a panorama or a
panorama drunk.
Yeah, panoramically drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So apparently, so drunk.
But when
that
you're víðáttufælin, that's like agoraphobia. So you're open space. I don't know what the word would be here.
Víðátta, isn't it like víðavangur? As in,
What is that, like a destination?
víðavangur is like
open
land.
Yeah, it implies that he's so drunk that you can like see from miles away that he's drunk.
Yeah.
Or he's so drunk that he has to be in such a space not to hurt himself.
Yeah.
That kind of would make sense too.
That guy isn't hestfire.
Spaciously drunk.
Spaciously drunk.
A spaciously inebriated individual.
He was pulled over. He was described by the police as spaciously drunk, and therefore too drunk to be driving. He was not able to tell the police who he was or where he was going.
Oh
and
my
was
god!
Subsequently spent the night
Who am I?
in jail. Not because he, just for the fact that the police were unable to find out where they should put him.
So he went to jail.
Perhaps not so stupid after all.
Reykjavík's cheapest housing.
Yeah, it's cheap.
What is your Kennethella, sir? I don't have one of those.
I don't know.
3, 2, wait a minute.
But I was going to say that there were a few items of news that we, on a normal mundane like today we would discuss. But I think basically there's just one piece of news from last week that everybody and anybody in Iceland has just kept on talking about.
That's how to hide a camera inside a cocoa-milk.
Yeah, inside a chocolate milk thing. Yeah. I think for the next issue of the Grapevine, we're gonna hide pictures of small chocolate milks.
I think Bonus put like
in the layout.
They put those big cartons of cocoa milk like front and center on displays or something.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, my wife came back from Bonus with one and says there was this big display. These were on sale. I don't know why.
It's actually we checked up on this in last edition of Heimildin, the source, the hip hop magazine I work for. And
straight out of
noted source of chocolate milk related news.
Yeah, and a journalist, a colleague, called up Mjólkursamsalan, which is the manufacturer of cocoa milk, and they were like, "Oh, this has nothing to do with the ongoing spy revelations. We always put this on sale in April." It's like, yeah, right.
Yeah, that's like Mandela effect, psyops stuff. If I ever heard it, like, we've done this every year. Like, yeah. Have they? I'm not sure. They could be right. I feel like I would remember if cocoa milk was on sale during Easter, because like that's like a lot of chocolate. Mm-hmm. But anyway, maybe we should like tell a summarized version of the story just for foreigners who have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit back and have the floor, Yondi.
Me.
Yeah, I mean, you're a former police officer. Yeah, it's like, this is a story about your colleagues.
I guess this is a story of how I've missed out on the surveillance industry as a former police officer.
Yes.
On Wednesday night, half of Iceland watched a news thing on a state broadcaster called Kveikur.
A very good show.
A very good show. And it is run by your former colleague, Helgi Selja.
Yes.
Whom you worked with on that show at RÚV previously.
Yes. The show used to be a lot better than it is today, but it's okay.
And with whom you worked at The Source at a later date. Anyway.
Yes.
You prefer Quake 1 to Quake 2.
Yeah.
So many feel this way.
Yeah.
Many such cases.
So in short, on that show on Wednesday, it was revealed that in 2012, 2 former police officers named Jón Óttar Ólafsson and Guðmundur Haukur Gunnarsson, along with a current police officer whose name escapes me,
Ludvig Lúli Lögga,
had sold their services, surveillance services, private surveillance services to Iceland's richest man, Björgólfur Björgólfsson. The
only Icelander on the Forbes billionaires list.
And they were following around and surveilling a bunch of people who were participating in a class action lawsuit against Björgólfur following the collapse of the Icelandic financial system, and specifically Landsbankinn Bank, of which Björgólfur was, I think, the biggest shareholder of his family.
Yes.
And Björgólfur seems to have been under the impression that his arch enemy, Robert Weissman, who is now mostly known for running a large pharmaceutical company, that it was a conspiracy by him to get this class action lawsuit on its legs, and that he was paying for it. And to prove this, he bought the services of these 2 former police officers to engage in like a long-term surveillance project where they
corporate espionage, basically.
Yeah, corporate espionage.
Yeah.
So there are a few things to untangle here.
Please do untangle.
I'm. This is like. I feel like this is more yours than mine.
Yeah, I like how you passed that ball.
Yeah,
That
you're
was so
passing
good.
that buck on to me, and I'm. Anyway, I feel worse
Like
equipped
a corporate conspiracy, the likes of which we've never seen. And Jonte is going to tell you all about it.
No, I think first of all, like my first impression, and I think many people's first impression was just how incredibly just
easy it is to buy a police officer.
No, not that part, but the whole thing just was.
As a former police officer, he would.
Yeah, you know, I've seen the paychecks.
Yeah.
How much would you charge? How much are you for sale for? What's your price?
Let's just start with how much they charge. They it was roughly 30 days of
work,
surveillance, 24/7. They started the mornings by following this university lecturer and an investor called Vilhjálmur Bjarnason, who is he's a character. He used to be a member of parliament.
And this is
later
when
on.
he was running for parliament.
Yeah.
Oh, right. This
It's
the pre-election campaign. So
for the Independence Party.
Yeah, so he was running around meeting all sorts of people for this.
Yeah, and they followed him from 6:30 in the morning.
When he went swimming.
Yeah.
Every morning.
And they discussed. I don't know if it ever materialized, but they discussed.
And the swimming pool is where the Kókumjólk came in. Did they go to the hot tub with a Kókumjólk? It's so tell us more about your feelings on big business.
Don't mind the Kókumjólkuferna. I'm have in your face. No, but they discussed putting a GPS tracker on his car, but then they were like, this is the season for people changing their tires from sumardekk,
summer to taking off the winter nailed tires and putting on the summer tires.
Yeah, and he's a character that would notice this. He finds it. He's he takes so good care of his car, and that were their worries, not that they would be tracking someone with a GPS tracker they put on their car.
Yeah, I mean, if you're working for some Forbes zillionaire, the last thing on your mind is getting caught out breaking the law, right? And especially if you're a fucking cop yourself, right?
These guys were former cops. They were fired, no, maybe they weren't fired. They quit the special prosecutor's office, which was put together to investigate these financial crimes, basically related to the crash of 08.
They were at least.
They weren't fired. They left.
They left or something, but they were then under investigation for having stolen information from within the special prosecutor's office.
They left under a cloud, as they say.
And sold that information to some of the companies who were being investigated.
Yeah, I mean, it is confirmed that they used materials that they obtained at the special prosecutor's office in their work for Throtabu, what's that?
The bankrupt estate of one of those companies.
Of those investment companies called Milestone.
Mm-hmm.
But it did not lead to
it did not lead to criminal prosecution.
No. But yeah, and then they tracked Vilhjálmur, who's this lecturer and investor. They also had multiple cars. They rented multiple cars and parked each morning, very early in the morning, outside of this big office building in Borgartún in Reykjavík, right in front of the entrance of this law firm that was handling this class action.
Suit, yeah.
And that's where the Kókumjólk came in. They put this small Kókumjólk chocolate milk carton, which I hopefully was empty because they put a hidden camera in it, and then in the back window, and it's hours and hours and hours of footage of just people going,
just brown liquid swirling in the camera,
and nobody understood why is this
so much chocolate milk. So probably should have drank it first.
So as far as we know,
I mean, these aren't the coldest Cokes in the cooler.
Or the coldest.
That's the harshest condemnation of anyone I've heard you give on the show.
So, more than a month of surveillance. that cost Björgólfur
we're talking
approximately what 32 million kroner.
Yeah, 33 million kroner,
which back in those days was enough money to buy a house, I'd say.
Yeah,
at least
definitely.
a large apartment.
Yeah. I bought my first apartment like 2 years later after this in 2014, and I paid like 19.5 million kroner for it.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of money for Björgólfur
Tor,
who's
Swedish.
we wish. Apparently is not.
He's had enough plastic surgery to look Swedish.
He has had plastic surgery. You think?
I just assumed. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I have no sources.
But he's like fit. He goes to the gym. He lifts weights and rides his motorcycle with David Beckham and Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, he was in Beckham's birthday. Beckham was turning 50.
Yeah.
And Björgólfur was there this weekend.
I wonder what they talk about.
So the surveillance yielded nothing.
Yeah.
Just to point that out.
32 million well spent.
32 million well spent on hours and hours of surveillance that somehow leaked to the press 13 years later. It is what I was trying to get at is the whole thing just seems so incredibly stupid and weird. That was the first impression.
Yeah.
And I guess the biggest impression of most people who I know who watched it. And it's only after like you got through the uncomfortable feeling of how stupid this was, where you kind of went into the territory of kind of unwinding like how bad this is, how like generally like it's a massive scandal.
I mean, do you feel like this is the sort of thing that like
what's going on?
Oh, thank you. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Anyway, did you get the feeling that like this was the sort of thing that everyone sort of knew that he might be doing, but there was no proof of it, or is this like more of a surprise?
I think this is like more of a surprise. It's not that you're surprised that someone with so much money as Björgólfur has would like think of doing something like this, but it's like that there are people willing to participate in this, and their total disregard for any rules and any ethics, because there is a recording of a meeting of these former police officers, Jón Óttar.
Yeah, with Birgir Már Ragnarsson.
Yeah, who is like the right-hand man of Björgólfur.
And also excessively wealthy in his own right.
Yeah, and he has at the time
spaciously wealthy.
He was víðáttu ríkur. Oh my God!
Come on,
starts again.
That's Björgólfur's hired goons trying to silence us. I bet.
I mean, we can't rule it out after what we've seen on Kveikur. But his wealth is mainly he's acquired his wealth after this. But at the time, he was like a.
He was running Björgólfur's investment company in Iceland, I think.
He and Andri Már, who is like his left-hand man.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
His right and left hands, yeah. And there's...
They're both telling me to do evil. Like, how can I do otherwise? Yeah.
Sometimes I don't know how to follow.
I'm sorry.
So for whatever, like, stupid reason or smart reason, whatever they thought they were doing, they recorded their meeting with
Birgir Már.
Yeah. That is Jón Óttar and Guðmundur Haukur, the two former policemen.
Where they go into detail about the things they're doing, and like, you can't speak ever about this openly because this is totally not okay.
Yeah, and then they actually...
And they were surprised. Turn on the Kokomilk here before we discuss details.
And they tell Birgir, who is also a lawyer, that they will have like a police officer on duty doing surveillance for them.
Yeah.
And this doesn't seem to bother Mr. Birgir Már at all.
No.
He's just like, yeah, cool.
Oh, this is probably very small potatoes compared to, other stuff they've discussed.
The big potatoes.
I guess partly like
I don't
why
need potatoes anymore.
But when they leave this meeting, they still have the recording going,
yeah.
and they are really surprised, these two former police officers, that he just, Birgir Már, agreed to everything.
Yeah,
he was just like fine with everything.
That was a freebie.
I guess the layer of stupid that is also kind of strange about this, if you're watching it for the first time, is that in capitalism, in the capitalistic society we live in, we're kind of made believe that people who get really rich are also really smart.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We've
I have never suffered from this delusion in my life.
We frequently find this not to be true, obviously. And this is a great example of this. One would have thought if, like, I don't know, Björgúlfur Þór or Birgir Már, his minion, wanted to do something like this, that they'd at least keep like a distance.
Yeah, like
you know
intermediaries,
what I mean?
or have the meeting in another country or something.
But Birgir is the intermediary of Björgúlfur.
Yeah, but it's this one guy.
Yeah, it's one step removed when you can be so many steps removed.
And
but I mean, I think it speaks to...
And the meeting takes place at like Björgúlfur Þór's like business office downtown Reykjavík.
Yeah.
It's not exactly like out of sight, out of mind or anything.
And they have like a written agreement
Let's discuss
to this.
some crime.
They also have a written agreement about this.
Yeah, but that's between BTB Limited, a company in Tortola, the British Virgin Islands.
Which also owns Björgúlfur Þór's private jet and some of his...
I don't think he still has a private jet. I think he sold
used
it.
to anyway.
Yeah, he used to have a private jet, which is... Wasn't it like the pinstriped one? No, that was Jón Ásgeir. It was like a black jet with like pinstripes. It was...
Right. Yeah, that was Jón Ásgeir. Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing.
I don't think Björgúlfur, would suffer the irredeemable faux pas of having the same private plane as another zillionaire. He would probably have commissioned a different pattern.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah. And the BTB Limited in Tortola was like a huge focus of the Panama Papers here in Iceland, because no one knew about this company and no one knew about its holdings and dealings, which are, to put it mildly, it's like a giant cobweb of companies, and like this thing called bearer shares. Do you know about it? Where you can since the crash and the Panama Papers, most jurisdictions have like outlawed this.
I'm sorry, you told me earlier to lean towards you. So.
There's also a microphone here for you to...
I don't need it, I'm listening.
Lean your face into.
Yeah.
But bearer shares are like this amazing thing where you can, it's like have the shareholding of a company be the one that actually holds the share. It's like if you have it in your possession, you are the owner of a company.
Right, like the physical shares.
Yeah, so if we can like deem this cup to be a bearer share of my cat's ashes.
Yeah.
He died this Christmas and it was cremated. So if I hand this to you,
touch it.
You are now the owner of that cat ashes. You want to take a sip?
Kind of works similar to how old
Smells
checks
like
used to be. If you could issue a check to its bearer.
Yeah, basically. And like this was like a huge thing in the Panama Papers, but we just missed it.
We were too focused on the fact that our prime minister was,
No, I mean this agreement that was made in 2012. It should be a part of the Panama Papers between PPP.
Yeah, maybe. Do you think it's in the leak? We just haven't seen it, or
it might be.
I
need to go and check.
I think the thing that surprises me the most about this story is how long it took to come to light that something in Iceland could be kept secret for this long, especially like if it's happening, in his fucking office. Like you said, maybe their confidence was actually well deserved because this was kept under wraps for.
Yeah, but the thing with this, it's somehow these recordings, which seem to be like the entire surveillance operation, was leaked to RÚV.
The state broadcasting.
The state. Thank you. Our listeners would be so lost without you.
Yeah, we're saying things like
I
Rúf
would
and
be-
Kókumjólk a lot.
Kókumjólk, chocolate milk.
Chocolate milk.
Chocolate milk. Yeah.
Icelandic brand chocolate milk. No, so okay.
It's a disturbingly muscular cat. on
So
the
like,
front.
And it's like he got buffed
He's
up.
buffed.
Yeah.
Like
But this was
5
back
years
in the
ago.
days when he was still
Like
kind
a
of looked
cat,
like a
like,
normal
yeah.
non-body dysmorphia
Yeah,
causing
it's
cat.
prior to
Like a
age,
chocolate drinking cat.
Yeah.
yeah, he kind of looked like a billionaire prior to getting prior to becoming a billionaire and
Yeah.
injecting yourself with a lot
You're
of
thinking
HGH.
about Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos.
And basically Björgúlfur Thor to an extent.
Wasn't he? Hasn't he always been? He was like in
Yeah,
Russia.
he's
he
actually
was
always been
lifting
pretty buff,
weights
yeah.
and selling beer.
So,
As one does.
as one does, yeah. I mean, I guess
Like his
If you-
origin story is amazing.
yeah. If you got rich in Russia in the 90s like he did,
Mm.
I think you would probably go to the gym a lot because physical confrontation is something that is not outside of your background in a way.
Yeah, and that's might be the reason why he didn't use more middlemen in dealing with this. He's just
Yeah, he's
used
just used to
uh,
Strong arming people himself in a way.
yeah, in newly formed Russia. you
Never
do
walks
things
into
yourself.
a room unless he's sure he can beat up everyone in there.
That's
Yeah.
why he's friends with David Beckham.
Yeah.
So petite.
So, first thing, well, like, we saw this and it was just incredibly stupid. We should
Yes.
also mention that this class action, like that the surveillance yielded no results.
Yeah, and like, what result should it yield?
He was
the
trying to-
theory was like, oh, Robert Westman, who was also a
Was he like
shareholder.
hoping to find out he was like a child molester or something?
I have no idea
Like-
what they were trying to find there, but I mean, if you want to,
That-
like the least likely person in this country probably to find any dirt on, or a person that never does anything outside of his just schedule is
Yeah,
Vilhjálmur Bjarnason,
Mhm.
the former MP.
Maybe that's why he paid those millions to former police officers instead of just having one of his journalists, write up a shit piece about him.
Yeah, and then so anyway, this
Remember how they used to bash the Grapevine back
Yeah,
then? Just
yeah.
like openly
Björgúlfur
mocked the
Thor.
paper.
was he
Fre-
bashing
No,
Grapevine?
Fréttablaðið.
Oh, Fréttablaðið,
Fréttablaðið.
yeah.
Took every opportunity to make fun of
Fréttablaðið hated
Grapevine.
us in the
Who's
years
having the last
leading
laugh now?
Well, yeah. In the years leading up to the financial collapse, Fréttablaðið did not like us very much. Because we talked shit about the Icelandic economic wonder.
Yeah, but who was the owner? Refresh my memory. Oh yeah,
Wait.
that was the guy with the pinstriped,
The pinstripe private jet.
private
yeah.
jet. Who was the owner of Fréttablaðið?
So, and the class action suit actually ended with an out-of-court settlement where Björgúlfur Thor paid these people off. Just to...
With the like,
exception of Robert Westman.
why do you call him Weissman?
I don't know.
It sounds nicer.
It'd be cooler,
Yeah.
but it's not. Westman.
Weissman.
Westman?
Weissman.
Anyway, but I don't think people were surprised. Like the general audience who watched this show, I don't think they were surprised by the fact that these things happened. And I don't think they were surprised because this is not the first time this particular former police officer has
No.
been revealed as following people around
Mm-hmm.
on the behalf of wealthy Icelanders who pay him to do so.
Yeah, my guess is that you're talking about Samherji, and
Good
this
guess.
work for Samherji.
Yes.
With like the family who owns Samherji is arguably like the second most wealthy individuals in Iceland after Björgúlfur Thor.
Mm-hmm.
They have like global operations in the fishing industry and other things. I mean, you can't go shopping without doing business basically with one of their companies.
Mm-hmm.
And Jón Óttar was employed by them for years,
Mm-hmm.
doing investigations, targeting journalists.
Yes.
Generally being
You
an
included,
unscrupulous creep.
I assume.
What?
You included?
I mean, I don't know for a fact that he was like surveilling me or following me, but we know that he was following and surveilling Helgi Seljan, my
Yes.
colleague, who broke this
Who broke
story.
this story? Yeah.
When we were working on the Fishrod files and after the release of like the documentary we did and the book we wrote about the Fishrod thing,
in the Samherji. Well, alleged bribes in Namibia to acquire fishing
I mean,
quotas.
these aren't alleged
No, they're
bribes.
actually-
The guy who like paid out the bribes has said I was paying bribes. He was their managing director, so I think it's okay to skip the alleged thing.
Yes, the bribes.
Yeah.
No chocolate milk required.
Yeah, I
No.
don't think so.
Yeah.
Whatever the Namibian brand for chocolate milk is.
Fish milk.
Fish milk.
No, so
Their fish consumption is surprisingly low, though,
Really?
in Namibia.
but
It's
I
a
mean,
beautiful country.
They have all that coastline. I would have thought they did more fishing. But
Yeah, but mostly it's like European nations who are like...
who have somehow acquired their fishing quotas.
Yeah.
So, so what I'm saying, or was saying, is that it wasn't exactly a massive surprise because we had heard about Jón Óttar before,
Yeah, I think people weren't surprised that Jón Óttar was doing
something like this.
sketchy things, but I think people were surprised, like I was like saying earlier, the way they spoke with Björgólfur Thor representative about like the rules they were breaking and this police officer they had on payroll and stuff like that. I believe people were a bit surprised by that.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
Yeah.
What's your
Sorry?
take?
I was miles away.
No, I think like if you are
You were still in Namibia.
no, these,
Beautiful coastline.
I mean, just think about it. If you are working, you're doing your shift as a police officer, and you just have the meter running on another gig at the same time. That's
Working
Mildly
9
unethical.
to 5,
Yeah.
doing safe
I think if you're the kind of
surveillance.
person who becomes, a cop, you're probably going to find that kind of thing exciting. Like this is
But
not to mention lucrative.
I mean,
Is there like a legal? Do they have that thing in Iceland where it's illegal for cops to work other jobs?
they have to get special permission. And it just happens to be that the former police commissioner of the police at the höfuðborgarsvæði, the capital area.
Capital area.
Yeah, at the time, Ludwig's boss, this police officer, he is now the head of the state broadcasting company, director of that.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, but I know for a fact that Ludwig did not have a permission to run an investigations and security company.
No, he had his
that he did.
apart from doing this gig for Jón Óttar and Guðmundur Haukur, Ludwig had his own surveillance company that he was running at the same time, doing surveillance for like hotels and stuff.
Yeah.
Which at least one would have questions about whether or not that was overlapping with his office time as a police officer.
Yeah, but
What would a hotel need to surveil? Like their own guests?
yeah, it's like the security thing.
Oh, okay.
They were taking
right.
shifts during the night. It's
Yeah.
like instead of dealing with Securitas, the largest security company in Iceland, they would just deal with LACO, this company run by a police officer. I mean, if I were to choose, like if I needed security for my pinstriped private jet, I would choose like an active duty police officer instead of a guy in a knife vest from Securitas.
Yeah, I think there are some rules about, sidekicks for police officers, and I think the rules were updated some years ago, probably after this actually took place in 2012. One of the things they were trying to stopgap there was the fact that some off-duty police officers were taking gigs at driving very famous and rich people around Iceland for like luxury tourism companies.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things they were doing.
Maybe they were driving David Beckham.
Perhaps they were driving David Beckham around. So maybe Björgólfur Thor is hiring police officers more than he knows. I don't know. But
the rules that say that you can't get permission to like do a side gig, they're like the thought there is like if you're a like licensed electrician, you can like go to someone's house and help them, and you can charge a fee for that. Or if you're a carpenter, you can like do an odd job here and there. But
yeah, it shouldn't be something that in and of itself could be like fodder for a criminal investigation.
Yeah, I mean, it's not you're not supposed to be able to use the knowledge or access to information you have as a police officer in this side gig.
But it doesn't like
ideally you shouldn't get paid for doing crime as well as solving crime.
But maybe that's the perfect system.
Some pipe dream utopia that will never happen.
But
you start the
cops
fire,
never break the
show
law.
up.
Yeah.
But what we know now about Jón Óttar Ólafsson, apart from the fact that he wrote 2 crime thrillers in 2012 and 14,
because of course he wrote fucking books about it,
and that he has a PhD in criminology from Cambridge.
One of the book is called Listen.
Yeah, like basically that. Listen, hlustun, which is kind of implies wiretapping or something.
Yeah, it's about wiretapping. Yeah. The complete plot of the story.
What I wanted all last week was to find somebody who's willing to review those 2 books for the Reykjavík Grapevine. Sindri.
Oh God.
Anyway, what I was gonna...
I really like to read it.
What I was
Not the books, but your review.
Yeah, they're in Icelandic, I'm assuming.
They're in Icelandic.
Maybe
and they're sold out.
Maybe you can translate them.
I read them. I read so slowly in Icelandic.
I don't think you're gonna have that much trouble with these.
Not a lot of big words.
Anyway, what we found out now is that Jón Óttar and his company PPP Limited.
Do you know what it stands for?
I don't want to know.
P-tapes? I don't know.
Pars per pars. Step by step in Latin.
Wow.
It's like he's so deep.
He must have picked up some of that Latin in Cambridge when he was doing his PhD. So we know that he's been running this company now since, well, at least 2012, earlier probably, doing private investigative stuff, surveillance stuff. And we know that he was working for Samherji for years. Have you guys looked at the annual accounts for his company to check out when he was and wasn't working a lot?
They're not public. It's like a samlagsfélag.
You're shitting me.
Yeah.
Oh man! So you can't get your hands on it.
No, but what we know is that he charged Björgólfur Thor at least 30 plus million. When Samherji went to court to get damages from Seðlabankin, the Central Bank of Iceland, because of a thing we're not gonna get into now.
Too complicated and
boring, they
tried
to say that they needed money from the central bank to pay off this investigator they had hired to go through all the investigative documents that the Seðlabanki acquired.
So that was one of the damages. And how much had they paid?
It's like 130 million.
What?
Yeah. And then that's excluding the operation that Jón Óttar did for them in Namibia and around Namibia when he was actually, he moved to Namibia at a point. And I guess a guy who charges like 30,000 an hour or something, I don't know his hourly rate. He got, I think, this paid well for Jón Óttar.
Yeah, and then...
Just to note, Guðmundur Haukur, he's deceased now.
Yeah, the other part of this operation.
Yeah, and they had a falling out at some point and stopped working together.
They caught each other wiretapping each other.
I think so.
Habit. Yeah.
No, I don't know.
No, and then on top of this,
Jón Óttar wouldn't surprise me though.
Yeah.
Jón Óttar was then screening Helgi Seljan, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Like blocking his calls?
No, it's just tracking his movements.
Oh, yeah, and he was doing it in a way that seems to have been deliberately so that Helgi would know.
Yeah.
Which is...
Going to the coffee house that Helgi is a regular at.
Kind of just
intimidation
tactics. Which I wondered if that's a different rate he charges for that than when he's just doing surveillance.
I don't know.
I'm not even joking.
He probably bills you for both.
But
I'm watching him, but I'm also threatening him.
But he's been sending him messages.
Yeah.
Sending Helgi and Ingi, which is another journalist. And that, he publicly apologized for that, Jón Óttar. But then it started again after the Quaker show.
Yeah, on Wednesday.
He just can't help himself.
No.
Idle hands. He's just watching Watching people on the news is like, I gotta send him threatening messages.
No, it was just like, I hope you sleep well tonight, and a smiley face with hearts.
Fuck.
But that's the thing. I really hope Helgi sleeps at night.
So do I.
Yeah, because that way you know he's not watching you because he's asleep.
But I would never send him a text. And we're friends.
This. I feel an inspiration now for a text message I can send you later today.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, this has been the only thing anybody has talked about over these past 5 days or so.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? I mean, do you have any sort of idea what sort of fallout will be from this? Do you think there will be? I mean, the police has been.
I have a theory.
Yeah.
Nothing will change.
Yeah, it sort of smells like that, doesn't it? Yeah.
I mean, we can't be just. We're going to be labeled complete cynics for this. Can't you guys at least be like upbeat about this?
Well,
upbeat about the.
There will be consequences.
I mean, this is the venue to, conceivably bring those consequences about. Like, the only thing we can really do is like talk about it openly.
No. I mean, what I was going to say basically is that the police is probably thinking whether or not they need to update their rules about police officers and their conduct outside of.
Yeah, but maybe update the rules, but I mean, the rules were in place and it didn't stop anything. No. This will have no effect on Björgólfur Thor's business anywhere in the world. This will have no effect on Birgir Már and Andri. No, Birgir Már.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't really know much about Andri or these guys, but they are like, they have kind of mixed business, what do you call it? They're kind of working together in various.
They have a ruglað saman reytum.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of different things together, and I mean they sit on the boards and have financed a lot of different companies in Iceland. Some of them quite famous, like the Keresis.
They made like 20 billion Icelandic kroner from the Keresis deal.
Yeah.
From what?
From
Keresis is a company that was operating in Ísafjörður, I think mostly, who were into sort of creating. What is it like?
Like bandages for like burn victims, made from like fish skin.
Yeah,
amazing invention, and it was sold to a Danish company for
something that would not have happened under the Norwegian model, I'm sure.
That's actually one of the claims. Yeah.
Fucking disingenuous sons of bitches. I want to talk because I saw that ad. Like I know you guys were talking about it last week, but it's just.
Yeah, but he has one of the things he's been doing is that he bought up like a piece of land on the outskirts of Kópavogur.
Yeah, and they're building like.
Right.
Yeah.
And it used to be a farm, and it's on the road between Reykjavík and Selfoss, and he's trying to build. What he's planning to do there is to build elderly housing there.
Yeah, it's like
and surveil them.
And he's also lobbying.
I've got this private security company that will handle all security and surveillance.
But as of now,
you don't need to worry about who's watching your parents. I am.
But as of now, that piece of property is outside of the sort of Kópavogur
like zoning
area. But he seems to be doing great at lobbying for that to change.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, because that would lead to my other question. Like, who else do you think he has dirt on? Like, who else do you think he's watched over the years? If you were to speculate, if anyone.
Well, I mean,
do you think there's more shit to come?
Given how municipality politics in Iceland work and how municipality politicians are willing to.
Who leaked it? Who leaked the stuff?
Who knows?
Who knows? No one.
I mean. Let's assume it's not Jón Óttar himself.
Just showing off.
Yeah, I mean, one thing he could have been trying to shake down more money from Björgólfur Thor and threatening to do something like this.
It's like it wasn't like a big thing in the documentary aired at Kveikur, but somewhere in the slides that are shown on screen, it says that they originally approached the people suing Björgólfur try to offer their
services
there. And then they said just like, no, we don't want anything to do with this. And then they just, okay, let's go to Björgólfur. And he was like, I'll pay you a lot.
Yeah, because there's like a common misconception about like powerful people or rich people paying people to do stuff like this, is that rich people are the ones going like, oh, I want to get this done. But it's usually the other way around, isn't it? Like people approach rich people saying like, hey, you want some shady shit done? It's just salesmanship like everything else.
Yeah. And I mean, if someone would offer me shady shit.
Yeah.
Like, I would say I have no money. I'm a journalist.
Yeah.
Like that was one of the when we did the reporting on the secret recordings of regarding the whaling industry in Iceland.
Yeah, this fall from what is the name of that company? Black
Cube.
And there was just like these allegations that
was it really Black Cube?
Yeah.
Okay.
Allegations that we, the journalists who broke the story, had like hired this company to go undercover and try to find someone. I mean, if I had that much money to use at work, I would. It's like there are like 50,000 other things I would do.
Yeah, it's like this fundamental misunderstanding from unbelievably rich people of just like how much this shit costs, like how how life-changing that amount of money could be to an average lower or middle class person. It's like
when people
and they always think it's like some sort of lifestyle choice when it's just like, my dude, we do not have money,
No, I think one can at least assume, if you look at the annual accounts for some of the Icelandic media companies, that they're not spending 10 or 20% of their income a year on like a single surveillance operation.
It's just like the height of narcissism to assume that your downfall is worth that much, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's an incredibly ill-informed.
Yeah, I mean, I, if I had this much money, I would pay someone to go through all the annual reports I have to go through just to
find stuff in there.
It's like fact checks thing. Like, well, I would pay someone to do that, and to like, I would like just speak someone my stories, and someone would write them for me. It's like if Black Cube offers that service, thank you.
Yeah, if they offer those services for a budget you can deal with.
Yeah, then I'm in business with Black Cube. Until then, no thanks.
Awesome. Yeah.
So,
is there any way for us to round this thing up?
What have we been doing for the last hour?
What have we learned?
Money buys information,
money
not necessarily good information.
So fun.
Everybody loves money.
Rich people have no morals.
Yeah, some morals. I mean, I don't think Björgólfur goes to the zoo.
Oh, for moral reasons.
Yeah, it's just a guess.
Yeah, but I mean, if he went to the zoo here, he'd get pig shit thrown at him, probably.
Pig shit?
It's so easy to get. Like, if you see someone you don't like at the zoo, you can just reach in and grab some.
I was once asked to leave the
petting zoo.
The pig thing at the petting zoo.
The pigsty and the petting zoo.
Like
asked to leave?
What had you? How? Why?
I was explaining to my nephew that this part of the pig is like the bacon.
Biology. You were explaining biology.
Yes.
I got you.
Okay. I wasn't aware they could ask you to leave, but that's okay.
No, it's just like other parents.
Oh, right. Concerned citizens.
Yeah.
Please, sir, this is too graphic.
Yeah, and then we just went to the stable, and I was showing which part of the horse is actually tasty.
Yeah, we should probably tell our American viewers which part of the horse is the tastiest, because they probably don't know.
None of it, if you ask me.
I mean, horse meat can be quite good.
Yeah, well,
as is whale meat. I mean, when handled correctly and not like frozen for 20 years.
Yeah, it has to be quite new. It goes bad really fast. Also, you can't cook it a lot, and it tastes like.
No, you have to be like.
It has to like
seasoned cooked.
The one time I actually ate whale meat, which is like probably like 15 years ago now. And I was told like this was especially good whale meat. I, for the life of me, would not have been able to tell it from like any other dark meat. And I just remember wondering like, what is the fucking point? Like, if you could put beef on here and tell me it's whale, like, why are we bothering with this shit?
It's so much cheaper than beef.
It's cheaper than beef?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Okay.
So
this is like a whole other episode.
yeah, it's a whole other episode because like
mystery meats.
as we discussed previously, Christian Loftsson of the CEO of Whale Limited, operating out of Whale Fjord.
He's just giving it away.
He is not gonna hunt any whale this season, and for a little while,
What will he do?
For a brief moment in time, we
Just
thought no
what's his
whaling
bank
would
account?
actually take place. But one company up in Ísafjörður has announced that they will be hunting minke whale this season.
Yeah, I feel like
Is
the
it
international
black
community doesn't really care about like mink whales.
Not to the same extent as they care about fin whales, I guess.
No.
I think they do. I mean, to most people, a whale is a whale.
Yeah, but like the difference between langreiður, which is the
Fin whale. like
fin
big-
whale, and minke whale is like the difference between a giraffe and a kitten.
Yeah, maybe to, salt of the earth sailor man Icelanders like us, but like to most people it's just like we're
That's-
still killing whales. I think it's semantics really.
Whale is a whale.
A whale is
It's
a whale.
A whale is a whale, yeah. But I think what this guy said is that they were gonna hunt like one whale at a time. This is an actual quote.
They're not just going to go out there with machine guns and blindly spray into the water.
No,
And
we're
they're
gonna
gonna-
That's
nets.
good. It's a step in the right direction.
And they plan to supply the demand locally, which is not very high. But
So one minke whale is sufficient.
maybe because most of the whale meat bought.
Yeah, I mean, you could make so many hot dogs with just one minke whale. It's unbelievable.
Oh my god, hot dog whale.
so most.
I mean, you've wondered what it is that makes the hot dogs taste so different, right? I mean, we already did this at some point in the show, didn't we? We theorized what they're putting in the...
Yeah, but
The hot dogs.
not like whale meat.
Could you tell? I don't think I
Yeah,
could.
it would taste like lyse. It's like what's lyse?
Fish, cod liver.
Yeah, cod liver oil.
Yeah.
But I mean, treated correctly, I think you can remove that sort of,
Fragrance.
mouth feel or whatever the hell you'd call it from the meat.
Mouthfeel from the meat.
Because
Yeah.
as it turns
I,
out,
mean,
like,
I think that's a wine term, but I mean, if we're going to discuss it in...
Yeah.
but because there is a tiny market for minke whale in Iceland, and
Yeah, mostly for like tourists.
yeah, for the
It's
past
mostly Alfred.
yeah.
for the past 6
Me
years
and
they've
a
been
couple of tourists.
they've been importing that meat from I think Norway,
Yeah.
and it's basically the whole business of people going whale watching and then having a piece of whale subsequently.
Yeah.
So it's basically whale for
Whale
tourists.
sashimi.
Yeah, whale sashimi. So I guess if he supplies that demand, that's a couple of minke whales a year,
Yeah, if that.
if that. So did you guys see just so we can change the subject? Were you aware of the May Day hostage taking situation in Hverfisgata?
Not until I showed up here this morning.
You knew about it?
Yeah. I knew about it. I didn't know about it in advance to make it sound like I was in on it. Did you know this was happening? Did you know this was going to happen?
No, it all sounded really weird.
Yeah, it's like this individual who is like
Another spaciously inebriated individual.
now he's like has some like health issues,
Mental health issues. Yeah.
mental health issues. He's known by the police.
Been in and out of
authorities.
institutions and
Yeah.
jail for years.
He trapped this tourist
One tourist
singular. Yeah.
on Hverfisgata. And
Do you know
With
like
a gun, right?
What? Yeah.
They
that's
had a
what-
tourist at gunpoint.
yeah, that's
yeah.
what they say. Which is,
But I think this is like the first tourist in Iceland held at gunpoint because you were asking us to be like, hey, positive thing
Yeah.
in history.
there is another example, and I think I'd rather not go into it, but there's a song called Mýrdalsandur by Bubbi. who covers that
Yeah.
thing.
Okay, yeah.
So,
About the two girls.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But that's like
That's in the 80s.
decades ago.
80s.
Yeah.
Let's
You
not-
had to be weird to be a tourist in Iceland in the 80s.
Yeah, very, very. rough terrain rough thing for traveling around Iceland in the 80s.
Yeah. Okay, now I
Actual
feel like,
trailblazing.
can we like cut this thing where I said you had to be weird?
No, why? I mean, people want to be weird. I think the tourists that come
you
here
have a positive
wish they were a
spin,
little
yeah.
weird.
Yeah, I mean, it was
that's why
it's so weird to go to Iceland.
It was a very niche thing to do. I think we had, I don't know, maybe 100,000 people a year, maybe back in the 80s visiting.
That's still kind of a lot. That's more than I would expect.
I can't remember. It's not a lot back in the day.
No, and most of them just went to the Blue Lagoon when it opened.
In the 80s, the Blue Lagoon, I think,
was a hole in the ground.
Was a
hardly
puddle.
existed. Yeah, it was still just a runoff from the power plant.
The early Blue Lagoon was such a trip, man.
Yeah, but I mean, really, that was a tourist destination, and that's like, I think 70% of tourists back when it was just a puddle around the energy
plant.
Power plant.
Got burned and/or seriously cut.
Yes.
There. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember going there in the, I guess, very early 90s, and it was simply just one shed.
Yeah.
And that was it. And I don't think you played admission either.
No.
They had like those little thin rope lines to keep you from getting boiled alive.
Yeah,
It's
it was
just like,
very...
hey, don't go there, you might, die.
You might die.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember going there for free, I guess. At the
Yeah,
risk
now
of
you
your
pay
life.
like your, what's it called? Nira?
Kidney.
Yeah, one kidney.
It's one kidney. That's
One
the going
kidney
rate
per visit, per person.
per year.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, someone was like sexually assaulted, or what's it called? Not assaulted.
There was some claims of that.
Yeah, this guy who got sexually
Satisfied.
Yeah, in a public setting.
The Blue Lagoon?
Yeah.
He publicly sexually satisfied himself.
Ah, I see.
That's the thing.
I see.
I didn't really check the details on that, but that was a weird thing.
I think it isn't like that's the detail.
That's the detail. That's all the details we have.
I think the story there is that he got caught, honestly. I mean, can you imagine a more, an easier setting for public masturbation to occur? It's that murky white water. Lots of people everywhere. It's like on the average Icelandic day, the steam is billowing everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's got covert sexual assault written all over it.
Yeah.
That place.
But this wasn't covered.
No. I'm saying it's unusual that he got caught.
Yeah.
Is the point I'm trying to make.
Did you guys know that Starbucks are opening in Reykjavík?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Finally get a decent chai latte in the city.
It kind of reminded me of the fact that Dunkin' Donuts opened here in 20...
And Krispy Kreme.
And Krispy Kreme?
Yeah.
Is Krispy Kreme still around?
No.
So Dunkin' Donuts opened in 2017?
Yeah, that was kind of recent.
And we were collectively, we were so excited that people queued outside when that place opened, and it was done in 2 years.
It wasn't super good, I remember. Just like, it felt heavy. Like, you could tell it had been shipped from overseas.
Yeah, but like at least the Krispy Kreme one, they had in Smáralind.
Yeah,
it's like you could see them like baking the donuts or frying the donuts.
Mm-hmm.
It is one of the most intense, not cholesterol, carbohydrate experiences of my life. That's Krispy Kreme.
Yeah.
Incredible.
So nice.
So nice.
But I think there are like 2 years until we talk about the closing of Starbucks.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Destined to fail. Again, nothing will change. I mean, I hate to play the cynic here, but...
If you can't run a Dunkin' Donuts downtown Reykjavík during a tourism boom, I'm not sure Starbucks is going to do any better.
Like, McDonald's tried and failed to hang on here, and, it's bleak for dystopian chains.
At the same time, KFC has been doing really well
KFC.
for 40 years.
Why is that?
Because it's amazing.
Yeah, but I mean...
They use like fresh chicken, never frozen.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah, I remember kind of trying to I think we, as that big scandal a few years ago sort of proved that, like, we treat our chickens really well, but not out of choice. I think if they could be mistreated more, they would be. But it's just because of the sheer scale of the operation isn't large enough to ensure that the chickens are horribly mistreated.
I mean, I think we could treat them better,
Yeah, for sure.
But we don't do as bad as many other countries.
Yeah, because there just isn't, the infrastructure. There isn't the size of the machinery, to make it so.
Yeah, anything you guys picked up this week that you want to address in more detail?
No. Now I really want some chicken and donuts.
I really want like a hot dog with male wheat.
Male wheat? Yeah. I think I always insist.
Whale meat.
When I buy bread, I always insist on male wheat. I find that female wheat dull and flavorless.
We should stop today.
Yeah.
And
But the final.
want any male wheat with your whale meat?
Now it's starting to sound like a boogie
we
song.
need to do this show in Danish or German or something.
Oh my
A
God.
language everyone can take seriously.
On a light note, did you guys have a good?
I can
Did you,
speak.
on an exit note, did you guys have a good weekend?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Did you do anything memorable?
I went running in Hedmark.
Nice. Did you do the state circle?
Yeah, I
Reykjavík?
did it twice.
You did 24 kilometers.
Yeah, 25.
25.
How
How does that feel today?
Not so good.
I'm assuming you slept poorly.
No, I slept like a baby.
They don't really sleep well, do they?
No, they sleep horribly. I woke up three times with my daughter, who's 2 years old.
It's nice to get some sun on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And it's also, I was going to say, it's like now we have this midnight sun thing going on.
yeah. Really helps with the sleeping too.
Yeah, it is.
How was it so easy to sleep when we were younger? It's just like I would sleep right through it, or maybe I just didn't need that much sleep. Probably that.
Yeah, I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
Well, blinds is something one should seriously
They
spend
never
money on.
work. It
If you
doesn't
have
matter
two-
how much you invest in them.
two
they just
layers.
always-
Yeah, I was going
Yeah,
to say
I
layers.
got fucking 3 layers going, and there's still shit creeping in.
Oh, you have like inside the window, it's
Yeah.
like this, like
Rolling blinds. Or
yeah,
whatever,
and then you have rolling blinds outside the window as well,
yeah,
and then you have these curtains that you can,
and then you put a blindfold on yourself.
yeah,
Then
I can't
maybe
sleep with those on my head. I don't know what it is, but it's just I sleep worse with the light.
there is also the possibility of simply removing your eyes.
I've thought about this,
Mhm.
and the operation's too costly.
yeah.
I
But
can't
maybe
find
maybe
can't
you
find a
can
high
have-
enough bidder for my eyes.
have you
Nobody
talked
wants
to
brown eyes.
Björgóli Thor?
I have a proposition for you.
Sir,
Yeah.
A shady thing.
a shady thing. Fundmyshadything.org. Well, thanks for dropping by.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks for inviting.
It was good to see you guys. See you next week.
Yay.
Adios. Bye bye.
Adios. Oh, we're doing a Spanish version.
See.
Bueno.
Bueno.